Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to 60th Minutes. My name is Brian Williams, the most reliable name in the media. Well, today we can finally talk about something other than the Chicago Cubs. I get that it's been 108 years, but seriously, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so today we'll be talking about the prescription opioid epidemic that is sweeping the nation. In 2014, 18,893 overdoses were related to prescription opioid pain relievers in America. And this number keeps growing every year. Some of these opioids include OxyContin, Percocet, hydrocodone, Vicodin, and codeine. Some doctors have even been caught giving prescriptions to people that not necessarily need the opioids, but take advantage of people's addictions to the strong painkillers. Also, if the prescription drugs get too expensive, then people can turn to the less expensive option of the street drug heroin. In fact, 4 in 5 new heroin users started misusing prescription painkillers, basically meaning that the opioids are a gateway drug to heroin. But amid all the rising numbers of addicted people and overdose deaths, we focus our main story of the day on the state of Michigan, which has been one of the hardest hit states of the prescription opioid epidemic. And now they are attempting to combat the growing problem. Here is CBS News correspondent Bobby Johnson on the report.
Thanks, Brian. Wow, it's really cold out here, man. Well, as you can see, I'm just outside of Michigan's capital of Lansing. I've been talking to some of Michigan's government officials, including the governor, Rick Schneider, and they give me some insight on just how serious the opioid crisis is and some possible solutions to the problem. According to state government numbers, Michigan is ranked 10th in prescribing opioid pain relievers in the nation and 18th in overdose deaths in the nation. Just in 2014, more than 21 million prescriptions were written in Michigan, and who knows how many of these are for people who abuse the drug. In terms of deaths, Michigan has 4,772 residents who have died from 2009 to 2012 from opioid poisonings. Even in some small counties, like Lenawee County in Michigan, there has been an increase in opioid overdose. According to Joanne Hartmeyer, who is a drug specialist, there were 13 overdoses in the county in 2013, 20 in 2014, and 25 in 2015. The epidemic is getting worse and worse, and Michigan politicians have been pressured to do something about it. Here's a section of my interview with Michigan Governor Rick Schneider.
So let's get down to business, Governor. What have you done to combat the opioid epidemic in Michigan?
Well, it's a pleasure to do this interview with you, Bobby. Well, first off, last fall in 2015, me and the Michigan Prescription Drug and Opioid Abuse Task Force worked on updating MAPS, or MAPS for short, which is Michigan's official prescription drug monitoring program created back in 2003. It is used by doctors to track opioid prescriptions by patient, and its overall goal is to help law enforcement officials and physicians keep opioids away from drug abusers. The idea of MAPS is a good idea in theory, but there have been a lot of complications to the program. It's a computer program, and it has not been proven to be reliable and a hassle for doctors to use. One example is sometimes the program frequently can stall up to 15 minutes. Michigan does not require prescribers and dispensers to check their drug databases, so it is essential that the MAPS program is improved. That's why I met with our drug task force last fall to discuss the topic. MAPS will be updated by the spring of 2017, and the task force has set aside $2.5 million for the project. Eventually, soon, we will attempt to pass new laws requiring the frequent use of MAPS by pharmacists. Well, that's about it, Bobby. As a state, we are trying our best to fight the prescription opioid epidemic. And hopefully the update of the Rundown Maps program will improve the situation in Michigan. Well, thank you, Mr. Schneider, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today.
No problem, Bobby. Well, Brian, as you can see, the MAPS program is a great program if it is ran properly. But if not, then the downside is that the program has numerous technical difficulties, making it hard to operate for a pharmacist, if you know what I mean. I personally think with the government funding and laws that are set to pass soon, the MAPS program can be an effective tool to prevent the abuse of prescription opioids. Well, that concludes my report. Back to you, Brian.
Thanks for the report, Bobby. Sounds like you took your time and made sure your sources were good and reliable and did a quality job on your report. It was very informing and knowledgeable. Well, it is time for a commercial break. I hope you enjoyed the next story on how I climbed all the way to the summit of Mount Everest. Signing off, my name is Brian Williams. 60 minutes. We'll see you after the break.
Sources: American Society of Addiction Medicine.org, Michigan.gov, MetroTimes.com, MLive.com, and the Food and Drug Administration.gov.